Hiya, welcome to my autumnal nails video. I'm starting the video with my already sculpted clear base, which I've done extremely thin. Because I've done it extremely thin, I didn't feel confident filing to shape like I normally would. So I've loosely filed and I'm going to put more acrylic over the top, my design acrylic. I'm going to strengthen the nails and then I'm going to file them to shape. So this is not the finished shape. So I'm starting with my ring finger and I am using Trilogy Chocolate Sundae. And I'm just gonna start patting gently around the cuticle area to make sure that the cuticle area is nice and neat, and then drag the acrylic down the nail step by step, sort of a 3-4 bead method because the nails are so long. Once I've finished this, I'm going to move on to doing the design work on the rest of the nails. Now I'm going to move on to the marble nail. I'm going to use the same chocolate sundae. I'm going to use Ignite and a Fog by Glam and Glits. The way that I do my marble nail is I create a 2-colour diagonal line down the nail, which is a little bit like a candy cane nail. I always start with my darker colour around the cuticle area, so that I can make sure that the cuticle area is nice and neat and the nail is as covered as I want it to be. And then I usually would alternate between the two so that I can blend them well, except as you'll see when I get to use the Ignite, I used a massive bead. Because I used a massive bead and I didn't want to waste it this time round, I actually placed all of the Ignite in one go and then filled in between with the chocolate sundae. Now I'm coming in with Fog just to cover some of those joins between the two base colours to give it more of a blended appearance and also just make it a little bit more sparkly. Everyone likes a bit of sparkle. Now I'm going to put Fog over the top of the chocolate sundae. But I'm not really sure why I did it, because you're not going to see the nail anyway when I finished. This is the nail that has a leaf over it. But still, if you didn't want to put the leaf on, because they are very impractical, you could leave it like this. It sort of looks like shards of leaves cut up. So now I am going to create my smile line. I'm using Glitterbels sugared almond, and I'm also using the reverse method. So I place my bead of acrylic upside down to how I normally would on the nail plate. And I just need to apologise, I do go out of shot quite a lot while doing this. I'm paying a lot of attention to the nail because I'm blending it up. I need to see quite well because I want to be able to see the lunula at the top, so that you cannot tell when the nail's growing out as much, because you can already see the nail bed at the cuticle area. Then I am going to pat down and shape the smile line. Once I have got the shape that I want, I'm just going to add another bead to create the structure. As this is a core powder, it doesn't need capping in clear, so I'm going to build the structure of the nail. Out of that, I'm going to build my apex. Now I have done my smile line, I am going to do my glitter nails. To do this, I am using a copper glitter, and I don't know where it came from, I can't remember. And I'm going to encapsulate it by using a wet bead of acrylic, clear acrylic, and then double dipping, so dipping into my clear and then straight over into the glitter. I like to keep my brush wet. I find the glitter moves a lot easier to do this, so sometimes I wipe my brush and then I dip back into my liquid, drain it a bit, but just keeping it nice and moist. Get the shape around the cuticle, and then I pull down the glitter, place another bead, do exactly the same until I have filled the nail. I do this whenever I'm encapsulating fine glitter. The same technique of a small wet bead of clear acrylic dipped into my glitter powder and then placed on the nail. I also give a bit of a twist to my brush, keeps the glitter on the top rather than the acrylic. Now it's time for me to refine my smile line. I'm using a 100 grit file. I'm going to refine and taper in the side walls and then use my file to make sure that that smile line, that the shape of it is crisp, because once I put the glitter on the tip, it's going to show whether it's not. So now I'm going to add the glitter to the tip using the same method as I did on the other glitter nails. I just love this glitter. I wish I could remember where it was from. So now I'm going to cap in clear acrylic. This is Glitterbels glass slippers, the same that I used to create my clear base. This is to give the nail its structure, its apex, and to protect the design underneath. So now I'm going to cap over the ring finger. This is the finger that's going to have the leaves over it. So I'm not going to worry about the structure on this nail, as I'm going to be creating strength with the leaves and what supports the leaves, which will be clear acrylic. I'm about to wipe my brush onto the index finger. There we go. That's because I had too much acrylic left on the end of my brush and I did not want to waste it. And I'm just going to place a second bead of clear acrylic onto the end of the middle finger. When I've done this, I'm actually going to swipe backwards to create a flush apex. And I just realised here that I didn't actually get enough acrylic onto the side wall. So I've just added a little bit now. the top coat. I've already filed to shape and I've also buffed to get rid of any of the thicker lines. I'm going to use Kiara Sky No Wipe top coat and I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds under double power in my lamp, as my lamp has a double power setting. However, it is recommended that you cure it for 120 seconds. Now it's time for the leaf. I place the acrylic onto the underside of the leaf. I blend it up towards the stalk because I want to create an ombre effect. I'm going to use the encapsulated glitter in the middle of the leaf using the same method that I used to place it onto the nails. Once I'm happy with all of the colour, I'm going to cover the design in clear acrylic to give it extra strength. Once it goes flexible and it's no longer wet, I place it onto my client's nail and fold it around the nail to get it a curve so that I can place it onto the nail when I take it off the leaf. As you can see, I'm curving it round the nail. Once it's gone a little bit harder, I am going to attempt to peel the leaf from the acrylic. I have done this before and normally it works, but I've never done it on this particular leaf. In this instance, it didn't work. And you can see, as I'm peeling it, the leaf rips. And the whole thing was extremely difficult to get off. I ended up having to scrape it with an orange wood stick. So I haven't kept that bit in the video because you couldn't actually see me doing it. But there's the finished product. I am now going to stick this to the nail using clear acrylic. I'm now going to repeat the whole process on my second leaf, doing exactly the same as I did before, including not being able to peel the leaf from the acrylic. Now I've got both leaves onto the nail, I'm going to add some detail. I'm going to create smaller leaves and place them onto the join between the two bigger leaves that are already on the nail. Once I've done that, I'm going to adhere Swarovski crystals to the acrylic leaves. Here you can see how the leaves and the acrylic are supposed to separate. And this is where I realised that it must have just been the leaf that I used. As you can see, these ones peel off the way that I intended the first lot to do. I'm just snipping into the edge of this one because it just seemed so big compared to the other. I just wanted to make it look a little bit more leaf-like than just a bit of flat acrylic. Now it's time for me to add the Swarovski crystals to the design. I didn't quite get them lined up, but unfortunately, because I'm using Kiara Sky Dip Base, once they're on, and they are not going to budge. So I couldn't move them, but I'm happy with the overall design. I do place some around the top of the leaf as well, by the cuticle area. Didn't realise that they were completely out of shot, but you can see them in the pictures at the end. have the finished design. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like them. I hope you want to recreate them. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.